We already know who this is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Colin Kaepernick, who last played in the NFL in 2016, and he was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. At that time, they were the worst team in the NFL. As you know, he took a knee during that time against police brutality. We already know that the NFL owners, um, the so-called president of the United States, and several others had co-opted the narrative, changed it to fit their whatever needs, and not only them, but also certain so-called black NFL players and others, guys like Ray Lewis, guys in the entertainment industry, guys like Jim Brown, who should know better, guys like Fat Joe. See, I don't forget the people who were against Colin Kaepernick when he did speak out against police brutality, because this was what it was all about in the beginning. But now, all of a sudden, during these protests, if you notice, they're using Colin Kaepernick yet again. And that's all they're doing, because let's face it, Colin Kaepernick is now 32 years old. And I understand, especially when you look at today's NFL, that the quarterback position, these guys play into their late 30s. Tom Brady will be, I believe, 42, 43 when he suits up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers is up there in age now. He's about, 36, 37? So Colin Kaepernick is relatively young when it comes to that regards. The problem is he has not played in the NFL since 2016. And obviously, it's not due to the fact that Colin Kaepernick could not play in the NFL anymore. He was basically whiteballed. You can't use the term blackballed. He was whiteballed. There are no black NFL owners. So let's call it what it truly is, whiteballed. From the NFL, because he took the stance that he did. Now, mind you, as I mentioned before, the San Francisco 49ers in his final season were the worst team in the NFL, bar none. And the fact that he was able to maintain a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio when his so-called number one receiver, Jeremy Curley, has not been in the league for about 2.5 years, should tell you something. It tells you that, number one, obviously, that Kaepernick can still play at a very high level in the NFL. In fact, he should be the starting quarterback on at least 10 teams that I can name right now. And I can tell you what, there are 2 teams in New York that would be much better off with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback than the current quarterbacks that they have. And if you're a Giants fan, you can come back with, well, Daniel Jones had a good year last year. Okay, and he's a rookie. He's only going to get better. Man, he turned over the ball something ridiculous. And I understand that a lot of it was fumbles, but the Giants are supposed to be a win-now franchise. I mean, can you really wait on the development of this guy? And let's face it, we've seen several quarterbacks regress in that second full year. This will be Daniel Jones' first full year as starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants. And he's already shown that he's been injured. Now, if you want to look at the other side of the, I can't even call it the Meadowlands anymore. It's called MetLife Stadium. Sorry, I just told my age on that one. Look at Sam Darnold. Are you happy with his performance the last couple of years? I know I'm not. Colin Kaepernick would be a huge upgrade over Sam Darnold, especially with that porous offensive line. And therein lies one of the reasons why I don't want Kaepernick back in the NFL, but that's yet another story. But it is sad to see how Roger Goodell, a person who just sat back silent when all this was going on, all of a sudden wants teams to look at Kaepernick and welcomes Kaepernick back in the NFL, wants to apologize, this, that, and the third. We all know that is full of baloney. And that's because I'm trying to keep it as fan friendly as possible and as PG-13 as possible. And don't worry, I'll be doing my regular crazy live streams later on today, which will go more in depth and be more adult friendly, so to speak. But going back to all of a sudden the quote unquote change of heart, your so-called president, and I'm not going to mention his name, I tell you what, if we just ignore him for a week, that guy wouldn't last. But he's decided to put in his 1 cent and say that Kaepernick deserves to be in the NFL if he can still perform. Listen, performance has never been a question with Colin Kaepernick. The question is whether people want to hire him or not. And I'm a Steeler fan, so let me speak on the Pittsburgh Steelers not going for Kaepernick. Yeah, you can't tell me after Ben Roethlisberger went down. And I tell you what, Ben looked shot the first game and a quarter that he did play in, okay? You can't tell me Kaepernick wasn't an upgrade over Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. If Kaepernick was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I guarantee you they would have made the playoffs last year. But they didn't sign him, and we didn't make the playoffs. So I don't want to hear about the Steelers. And meanwhile, there is precedence for the Steelers to sign a quote-unquote controversial figure like Colin Kaepernick. I mean, we had Michael Vick play quarterback, and he was dreadful for the Steelers. Absolutely dreadful. He didn't have a clue in what he was doing, it looked like a lot of times. Michael Vick was extremely disappointing. But let's face it, they're doing the dog and pony show with Mr. Kaepernick. Now the latest one is the LA Chargers, where Anthony Lynn is allegedly interested. I've heard the Baltimore Ravens name. I've heard a few names. All of a sudden, Seattle, Pete Carroll wants to be his friend now. Give me a break. You had him in camp and did everything but ask him about football and work him out. You knew he would have been a perfect. In fact, he probably could have taken Russell Wilson's job. But that's yet another story. If Michael Crabtree makes the catch in the end zone in that Super Bowl, Colin Kaepernick would have been a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's part and parcel as to why Colin Kaepernick, we know that's not why he's frowned upon, but believe me, a Super Bowl winning quarterback would still have cachet in this league. But we know all full well that this is all a dog and pony show, and Colin Kaepernick will never play a down in the NFL. And to be honest, if he does play in the NFL, I'm afraid a Richie Incognito type offensive lineman will all of a sudden miss his quote-unquote blocking assignment and try and get Colin Kaepernick darn near killed on the field. And I am afraid for that. We have way too many martyrs as it is. And I'm pretty sure that Colin Kaepernick, we can tell he's doing fine because unlike a lot of people, he has put his money where his mouth is when it has come to the movement. And he's been doing that even before he took a knee. But here we go again, NFL. Another dog and pony show. And I already know how it's going to end. But you know what? I would love for the NFL to at least one time prove me wrong. I highly doubt it. Please like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. This is UncleClaude's Grown Folks channel. Take care, and God bless.